everybody, it's Dr. Joe and handsome Mr. Bear, and today I'm going to show you my 20-minute real-time back routine. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. For this 20-minute routine, I'm going to start my timer and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the timer count is. So we're just going to start off with a warm-up. So with the warm-up, just maybe start kind of with some hip flexion, and that kind of starts working that back a little bit. You can just do a couple, you don't have to do a lot. I'm going to do then just a little rotation to get that back loosened up. So with the stretches and exercises, we're going to do 30 seconds with a short break, and then once we finish the actual exercise of the stretch, we're going to take a little bit longer break in between. You can bring your arms up a little bit just to kind of get that back moving as we go. You can bring your arms kind of out and in. You can cross them a little bit if you want. You can bring them up and then over. So again, you're just kind of getting that back loosened up with this 1 minute to get everything stretched out a little bit. You can even just do some roll downs a little bit. You don't have to go all the way down as much as we usually do, but just kind of rolling a little bit. So now we're going to go down into the pelvic tilt and start our exercise. So I'm going to start that pelvic tilt. As you can see, if you haven't done pelvic tilts with me before, you're just rolling back and flattening everything out. So roll, kind of hold it, and then relaxing. You're not using your feet to push, you're just kind of rolling. So you don't have to count how many you're doing. We're just doing it for that 30-second period, and then we'll take a little break, and then we'll do another 30-second set. So this is nice because if you need to go a little bit slower, you don't have to worry about your repetitions. Take a little break in between if you need to. And then so now the break is coming up. Short break. And then we'll take that little break. You see, I'm kind of going a little bit faster. You can hold them a little bit longer. You can work on that build up if you want to. So now we're going to go back into that 30 seconds. So again, just tilting back, flattening out that back, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds the first couple times you do it, and then just work your way up to a little bit more. But you see, I'm not pushing with my feet. I'm rotating at that pelvis, a supine or a posterior in the supine position pelvic tilt. So really just kind of holding that and then relaxing. So if you work your way all the way up to the 30 seconds, that's fine. Great. So now we're going to take a little bit longer break. The next one is going to go into bridging. So bridging is another great way to kind of loosen stuff up and get some strengthening in your glutes and your hamstrings. I like to just roll up with mine, not going fast and using momentum. So here we go, getting started. So just kind of rolling up and then a nice roll back down. So you don't have to pause at the top if you don't want to, but you can. If your back is kind of achy and tight, you don't have to go up quite as high. So if you just want to start about here and then roll back down, but the goal is to get all the way up if you can and nice and roll back down, especially if you're just working on strengthening and stretching your back and you're not really having any issues. But again, if you have some issues and this is hurting while you're doing it, don't force the movement. Bridging is sometimes a little bit harder. So again, going back into it, rolling up and then nice and slow rolling back down. So you can go continuously, or if you want to take a little break in between, you can. Sometimes if you bring your heels a little bit closer, that'll take the hamstrings a little bit more out of it and get your glutes a little bit more. I like to kind of set them in between right there. And then coming up and then rolling back down. Long break. So the next one is going to be a trunk rotation. This is actually going to be a stretch. So we're going to hold the 30 seconds. We're going to do that on each side, but we're just going to do twice. In general, if you're doing stretches, you might have heard me say that 30 seconds 3 times, but we're kind of keeping this into a 20-minute routine. Exercise. So keeping the feet together, keeping the knees together, and just rolling over to the side until you feel that stretch. You'll usually feel it on the side. You don't want your shoulder coming up, so if you feel like your shoulder's rolling up too, that's not exactly what you want. Your bottom on the opposite side can come up a little bit, but you want to feel that nice stretch through there. It doesn't have to be a lot. You're just getting that nice hold and that nice stretch in there. You can just stop and breathe if you want. Now I'm coming back up, just taking a little short break, and then we'll alternate to the other side. So now I'm going back over, and again, right through here, sometimes where I feel it, sometimes if you're really tight, you'll feel a little bit more up in the back area through there, but kind of in that lower back, sometimes up in the upper back. You can also, if this doesn't feel like much of a stretch, you can bring your arms up and rotate to the opposite side, and that'll give you a little bit more rotation in the spine, getting that stretch out. But if this is the first time you've done it, I just nice and relax. Coming back up, taking that short break again. And then rotating back to that other side. So again, not going fast, not making jerky movements, nice, smooth, slow control movements. Even with the stretching, you know, you want it to be a smooth motion, not just dropping everything down and then maybe irritating something. So again, you can just take some nice deep breaths. You can go through your chest. You can do some diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing if you want, and just get that nice stretch in there.
Short break.
And then bringing it back up. And then rotating back over.
Exercise.
So for this particular one, you want to keep your feet together. You might have seen some of mine where I have my feet spread out a little bit. You can do it that way too. It's just a slightly different stretch. So this is kind of the first, the kind of the beginner stretch. Get that stretch in there. And again, just kind of that stretch right through there.
Long break.
Okay, so now we're going into the next stretch. So it's going to be a knee to chest stretch, which is just like it sounds, you're bringing your knee up towards your chest. Just making sure, again, these should be pain-free. There shouldn't be any pain in there. So making sure you're not cranking on it and pulling it hard.
Exercise.
So I'll start with my right side. So I'm just bringing, just like it sounds, my knee up towards my chest. This is going to be another 30-second stretch and hold. Now, I'm holding over my knee like this. If you happen to have some knee issues, you can grab underneath. If you're feeling a little pinching in the front, which you shouldn't, then back off just a little bit because you want to feel it more in your lower back and your bottom area.
Short break.
So then when you switch to the other side, again, you can change these just a little bit to get different feelings of the stretch. So this time, if I'm coming up, if my back is really sore, a lot of times I'll leave that other knee propped up. But if you want to get a little bit of a hip flexor stretch on the other side, slide that leg down. And so now I'm getting a stretch through here, but I'm also getting a stretch on that hip flexor side over there. So just, you know, getting that nice stretch. Take a deep breath as you breathe out, then pull up just a little bit more to get that nice stretch in there. So this time when we come up, I'm going to do the leg down on this side just so you can see what it's like on this side.
Exercise.
I'll usually bring up my knee first and then slide it down. So as you can see here, I'm usually a little bit tighter on that left side in that hip flexor area. So when I'm stretching, sometimes this is a good way to stretch it this way. But one of the big things to make sure that you're doing is pulling your knee up towards your chest. If it's rolling out a little bit, see, I can get a little bit more, but then I'm not quite getting that stretch that I want. So try and bring that knee straight up towards your chest area to get that stretch. And so then we'll do the last one on the other side with the knee bent up.
Exercise.
So again, here, maybe you can see it a little bit better. You don't want to pull it out to the side because see, then again, I can get it up further, but that's not quite getting the stretch that you want. When I'm bringing this up, I should feel that stretch kind of through there and into my low back. And this is a great time to do some nice deep breathing.
Long grade.
So now we're going to take another long break, and we're going to go into a hamstring stretch. You might have seen me do hamstring stretches several different ways. I really like stretching with a strap, but since I want to give you something that you don't need any equipment, we're just going to do it in kind of a long sitting. I like to bring the other leg up a little bit. Keep the one out straight that you want to stretch, pull your toes up, but try not to curl your back. A lot of people want to do this so they can touch their toes, but then you're not really getting that hamstring stretch. Just bend forward at your hips. I'm getting more of a stretch in my hamstrings right there than if I curl all the way down to touch my toes. So make sure you're feeling it through there, underneath that thigh where those hamstrings are, because if you're not feeling much of a stretch there, you're probably not quite doing it right.
Short grade.
So then just kind of switching to the other side. And again, if you're kind of on the edge of a bed or a couch or something, you can just put the other one down if you want to. And then again, kind of pull up those toes to help kind of keep that knee a little bit straighter down, and just keep that back as straight as you can. Maybe a little bend's okay, but you don't want to, again, to curl it down. You want to keep it up because those hamstrings attach to the pelvis there, and then just leaning in, getting that nice stretch underneath. So you can see my knee might have a little bit of bend because I'm on the couch here, but you want to try and keep it as straight as you possibly or comfortably can.
Short grade.
And then if this is a little bit uncomfortable, you can actually keep both legs out if you want and stretch them both. But I feel like when you do one at a time, you can focus a little bit more on each side because one might be a little bit tighter than the other. So if you're stretching them both together, you'll get a good stretch, but you might be able to get a better stretch if you're doing one at a time. But if you're pressed for time, you can definitely stretch them both at the same time in kind of a long sitting position or standing if you want to. But again, just kind of feeling it nice underneath those hamstrings there.
Short grade.
Then I'll keep it up for this one just so you can kind of see the different motions for each one.
Exercise.
And then keeping that back nice and straight, and then stretching in again. And this is where you can do some nice deep breathing as well. Some diaphragmatic breathing is usually the best, but sometimes when you're kind of in a stretch position, it might be a little bit harder, but just get some nice breathing in, because sometimes once you do some breathing, you can stretch a little bit further after you get some of that nice deep breathing in.
Long grade.
So the next ones we're going to kind of roll over onto all fours, or what we call quadruped. Some of these are my favorite ones. If you can comfortably get in this position, these are some great stretches to do. If you're on the edge of a bed or a couch, sometimes putting your feet off the edge is nice.
Exercise.
But if not, try and keep them nice and straight. So we're just doing a cat-cow or a cat-dog right now. So coming up like a cat, tucking in your chin, and dropping down. So you don't have to do the whole 30 seconds for these. You can just do maybe like a 5 to 10 second pause. Coming up, really tucking in that chin, arching that back, get that nice stretch, and then drop down into that cow or the dog. You guys know I like dogs a lot. And then taking a little bit of a break there. So again, these shouldn't really hurt. You can see my pelvis might be moving a lot more than yours.
Exercise.
That's okay. If you're just getting kind of here instead of all the way up, that's okay. Do what you can. Or if you're coming down and you're only kind of dropping to what we would call maybe a neutral position, that's okay. But eventually you want to try and get that drop. See that drop in my hips right there? And when I bring my head up looking straight forward, that's when I really feel that stretch in the back. So that's what you want to try and get right there. But if you can't, if you can only, get a little bit of movement first, that's okay. That's all you need to do.
Long grade.
Don't really force anything. So the next one is going to be a prayer stretch or the child's pose. Sometimes if your knees are a little bit painful as well, or if they're tight or arthritic, this might be a little bit hard to do. So you can modify it by kind of holding onto a pillow, but I'm just going to show you how I would do it. So I like to put my arms out and then kind of lean back a little bit. Again, getting that nice stretch. If you can relax your head all the way down, that's great, but sometimes you're not going to be flexible enough to be able to do that. This one I would say would be a full 30-second stretch.
Short break.
One of the biggest things, and sometimes I have a hard time doing this because my feet turn in a little bit naturally, try and keep your feet, the top of your foot down. Don't roll them out when you go into that prayer stretch. This is a great place to do some of that diaphragmatic breathing. Really let that stomach kind of go out, feel it pushing against your thighs to get that nice deep stretch and breathing in that stretch in there.
Long break.
So the next ones are going to be sitting. We've got 2 more to go. Can you believe it? See, stretching when you're having fun doesn't seem like it takes forever. So the next one is going to be a thoracic side bend. So this one again doesn't have to be the full 30-second hold, maybe a 5 to 10 or 10 to 15. Just kind of bringing your hands up to your head, and you're not crunching down, but you're bringing your elbow up towards the ceiling. So watch the difference. I'm lifting my elbow up. I'm not bending over. You'll really feel a difference in that stretch, and this will get a little more to your mid to upper back. And again, you don't have to do full 30 seconds, but you're stretching, getting that nice stretch up there. Sometimes I like to look up at my elbow and get that kind of look on the other side. So maybe just 2 in that 30-second period, or if you want to go a little bit faster, if it's uncomfortable, you can do that as well.
Exercise.
So hands kind of up on the head, and then just up. And then again, if you want to go maybe a little bit faster, if it's slightly uncomfortable, that's okay. But really kind of moving in that sideways or that side bend position to get that nice stretch in there. And I'm feeling that stretch kind of all up in there, and then coming back and getting that right there.
Short break.
So this one, again, doesn't have to be those long stretches in between, but if you wanted to hold it for the full 30 seconds, you can. So I'm going to hold the full 30 seconds for this one. So, and then we'll go back and get that other side. But again, getting that nice stretch, trying to sit up tall. You're not crunching your body down. You're trying to stretch everything out. Get that nice stretch in there, hold it up high, and really just breathe in and let it out. So that was more through my chest. Sometimes with stretches, I do like to do some chest breathing a little bit to really open up that chest area. But the diaphragmatic breathing is also really nice too, because if you can really get it down and follow it along with your stretches, you'll get a better stretch. It will help those muscles relax. Getting that nice stretch in there. And again, sitting up nice and high, reaching almost like you're trying to take that elbow up towards the ceiling. And again, I kind of like to look over that way. A lot of the muscles, we don't think about that. They're in kind of the neck and the shoulder and that upper back area, all connected, even with the eye muscles, which is pretty exciting, and to know that everything really is connected. So the last one is just going to be some nice deep breathing. But again, for this one, I like to breathe with my chest, because what you're going to do is almost like a jumping jack movement with your hands and really trying to just stretch out and reach up towards the ceiling. So what I like to do is breathe in, breathe out. One more breathe in while my arms are up, like I'm trying to just touch the ceiling. And then let it all out. So you don't have to keep it up there long if you want to make it a quicker movement. So if you want to just one breath, you can, but I like to do the one at the top one more time, that breath, just to really stretch out that back, get those segments loosened up from the low back to the mid back, even up into the cervical spine, because again, they're all connected and you want to get them nice and loosened up. So bringing up, getting that nice deep breath in there. You can go a little bit slower too. and coming back down. So go at your own pace with your breathing, because your breathing pace might not match mine. When I talk, I usually breathe a little bit quicker as well.
I know, yeah. So there you have it. That was my 20-minute real-time back stretching and exercise routine. If you'd like to help support my channel, make sure and click on the link up there. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.